Chicago is pushing on a move that would change the temperature of this defense overnight. And I'm going to walk you through the why, the how, and the what it means before anyone else wraps it in noise. This is Bears News Fan Report, and I'm here as the same diehard who paces the living room on 3rd and 7 and rewatches the All-22 on Tuesday, speaking straight and clean so you can feel the plan snap into place. Because tonight isn't about rumor candy. It's about a front office weighing urgency against discipline and a locker room that knows a real swing when it hears one land. This is the brief. I'll set the football context our secondary is living in. I'll break down the on-field fit and the coverage families that actually matter in Chicago. I'll lay out realistic cost and cap mechanics without the jargon. I'll put the risk on the table like adults, and I'll climax, te entrego el nombre y el guión de por qué esta jugada sí podría empujar a este equipo del aguantar al imponer en enero, porque la forma de contar también gana partidos. I'll start where everything is earned, the field. This defense has been nasty when the rush and the coverage speak the same language. Four-man heat that squeezes the pocket into the teeth of the zone, flat defenders arriving on time, safeties reading the quarterback's eyes without abandoning leverage. But Sundays have also exposed the moments that separate good from playoff proof. Soft cushions on money downs turning quick outs into chains, contested catches on the boundary turning into explosive gains because length and timing weren't there, drive extending flags that arrive when hands get grabby at the top of the route. The truth no one in the building runs from is simple. With injuries and snap counts fluctuating, the corner room needs another high-end trait player who can erase mistakes before they become touchdowns. Someone whose physical profile lets the call sheet get louder without putting the back end on a high wire. That's the job description. The calendar adds pressure. Early November draws a line across the league, and when you're in the hunt, you don't wait for March to solve January problems. You act, but you act smart. Scheme is not wallpaper here. It's the backbone of the conversation. What do we ask our corners to do? Press bail to disguise looks without surrendering leverage? Pattern match principles that flip from zone to man mid-route? Squeeze throwing windows in cover 3/4 and then rally without missing tackles in cover 2 looks? We coach eyes first, hips second, hands last. We live on technique and length, and we measure everything against rush lean integrity so the quarterback never gets the same picture twice. That's why just any corner is a trap. Chicago needs a boundary alpha who can play with the receiver on a string, threaten the line of scrimmage without panic, and carry verticals with the stride to turn and find the ball instead of panicking into PI. We need speed that shows up in transition, stop, start, plant, drive, and wingspan that steals windows quarterbacks thought were open. We need a closer on 3rd down who changes the route tree for coordinators on Tuesday. Now the front office lens in plain English. If you add at corner, you're buying snaps in the biggest leverage downs of the season. The price has to reflect that, but the structure has to protect tomorrow. Rookie deal money through the mid-2020s is gold because it gives you performance now and optionality later. And it doesn't force you to cut from other rooms that win in December. Edge depth, special teams gunners, that rotational interior who saves the starter's legs. The sweet spot is a trade that costs a real pick but not your future, with conditions tied to playtime or team success. And the fit has to be instant. Step off the plane, learn the terms, and give you 40-plus competitive snaps in 2 weeks, not 2 months. That's the adult version of go for it. Here's where tape meets math and the light turns green. The profile Chicago is circling is rare on earth, not just in a draft. The 6'4" corner with A-lean stride, sprinter's top speed, and a wingspan that makes quarterbacks pump once too long. That frame changes how the sideline plays. It dares you to test the 9 route, then erases your margin when you do. It lets the coordinator bring pressure from depth because the boundary can live on an island for a beat longer, and a beat longer is the life of a pass rush. The player I'm talking about is a walk-off fit for our mix of press bail, cover 3 match, and quarters rules because his stride buys patience and his length buys forgiveness. It also opens up thief techniques underneath because QBs hate throwing outbreakers through a condor's arms. And yes, there are valleys on the film. Hand placement can wander. Eyes can get greedy on double moves. But valleys you can coach are different from ceilings you can't reach. With this guy, the ceiling is the headline. Roll on day 1 is crystal. Early downs, align boundary, threaten press, bail with tempo, and squeeze the outside release until you own the red line. If the split is nasty, play heavy inside leverage and trust your speed across the face. On money downs, you become the eraser. We roll coverage away, spin the safety to the other side, and dare coordinators to throw into length. Red zone? Win the first contact at 5 yards, play through the pocket, and make receivers hate the fade. Turnovers are a coaching point, not a wish. High point the ball, attack through the hands, and turn defense into short fields. Special teams? Day one gunner if needed. If he runs like the scouting report says, you steal hidden yards immediately. Now the risk. Clean and up front. With length comes pad level challenges. If your hips stay high at the break, the comeback owns you. With speed comes temptation. Peek into the backfield and a polished route runner sells you the double. With a big frame comes tackle mechanics. If you launch without wrapping, you're a highlight for the wrong offense. The plan to mitigate is already sketched. Stack W drill and speed turn reps in practice. Rep key reads so the eyes live on the hip, not the quarterback. Drill strike, lift, wrap so the last man misses less in the alley. Give him rules, not vibes. Give him a veteran's checkpoints and hold the standard. You do that, and the splash plays arrive without the soft underbelly. Cost without the fantasy. This isn't a garage sale. You're paying for a young starter on team-friendly money with Pro Bowl ceiling. A third-rounder straight up makes sense in this market, with a conditional sweetener tied to playoff wins or snap share. You're not sending cornerstone pieces out the door. You're sending picks to buy leverage on defense. Cap, rookie scale cash slides in clean. You can execute now and still keep flexibility for a late add elsewhere if the value falls in your lap. That's how you act like a team building for January, not just October. Put it all together. Scheme, traits, cost, calendar, and the move that keeps coming back like a drumbeat is the one I've held for the right moment, because delivery matters when you're talking to a city that knows football. Chicago is lining up a push for Riq Woolen. Yes, that Riq. 6'4", with track speed, stride that eats 5 yards of cushion in a blink, length that makes quarterbacks file a mental note. Drop him on the boundary opposite your top corner, let the safety tilt to formation strength, and watch how third downs feel different. Screens to his side die early because arms get there first. Slot fades to his leverage never feel clean. Back shoulder throws become 50-50s that tilt your way because the wingspan arrives through the catch point. The whole unit benefits. Front four gets the extra half second, linebackers can plant and drive without babysitting the sideline, safeties can bait throws instead of emergency plugging holes. What changes on the call sheet is freedom. With Woolen in the room, you can spin late and mess with protections. You can bluff cloud then bail to 3. You can show too high and roll to a trap because you trust the boundary to hold. In 2 minutes, you can carry verticals without begging for help. On third and short, you can challenge the perimeter and steal a slant that used to be automatic against off coverage. And the intangible is real. A long corner with swagger flips body language on both sidelines. Receivers take wider stems, quarterbacks double clutch, pass rushers feel like hunters again. That's culture in cleats. Before I close, I want you in this huddle. Do you want the front office to push a day 2 pick for a freak tools corner who can tilt third downs right now, even if it means living with a learning curve we'll coach through on the fly? Would you rather spend similar capital on an edge and trust the corner room to hold? If we land Riq, who sits on the game day 48 so the rotation breathes? Tell me your read in the comments with the same honesty I bring here every night, because this channel isn't for rumor tourists, it's for fans who care how and why, not just who. My professional take, tight and direct. Riq Woolen to Chicago is the kind of disciplined swing that says we're serious about January without lighting the future on fire. The traits match our coverage DNA, the contract fits the cap, and the price lives in a lane where you can still help another room if the board throws you a gift. He won't fix everything alone, no one does, but he raises the floor on money downs and raises the ceiling on a defense that's built to punch above its weight when the back end buys the rush an extra heartbeat. If you're with me, lock in. Subscribe, hit the bell, drop your lineup ideas below, and stay close to Bears News Fan Report. When the clock hits early November and phones start buzzing for real, you'll already understand the move, the plan, and the payoff.